I've personally managed over 500 million in ad spend. 400 million of that has been in Google Ads. I started my career launching my own e-commerce brand. Then I worked at an agency. And now I work for some of the fastest growing D2C companies in the world, including one that sold for 9 figures with Google Ads as a key growth channel. And just to show you what that looks like today, here's what one of my clients said this year. Austin and his team are always proactive in the account, making adjustments, tests, and suggestions on CRO that have helped our business 10x from less than 130K a month to now doing over 1.5 million a month steadily just by scaling Google Ads across our brands without any other sales channels. That's an 18 million run rate business today. And I continue to help them scale month over month from what was barely a $1 million brand a year ago. I'm not just sharing this to brag, so you know that these lessons come from real world experience, not just theory, not just Google Ads help docs. So in this video, I'm compressing nearly a decade of running Google Ads in 10 practical lessons or secrets you can apply today to scale more profitably and unlock hidden growth. So let's get started. So secret one. Campaign structures aren't a one size fits all. Build for your business. One of the biggest mistakes I see is marketers searching for and copying so-called perfect campaign structure, a blog or a post or a YouTube video. The truth is, the best structure is one that's built around your business, while also giving Google's algorithms what it needs to learn and scale. Here's what that really means. Don't try to game the algo. You can't outsmart Google's machine learning. And if you try, you'll usually end up hurting and not helping your performance. Learn to work with it, not against it. So for example, the days of SKAG, single keyword ad groups, if you're familiar with that, and segmenting by match type are over. Those tactics used to work when the algorithm was less advanced, but today they only limit your performance. Segment around your actual business needs. Do you have different product categories? Do you serve unique experiences in certain regions? Do you have a best-selling SKU that deserves its own budget? Do you have seasonal products? Do you have products with very different profit margins? This is not a finite list, but these are some of the many business considerations when strategizing your account setup for growth and performance. I've launched nearly 600 campaigns in the last 12 months, and yes, I always start with some type of system. But the winners are never just plug and play templates. They are structured and designed around the realities of the brand and the category I'm working with. So here's the secret. Work with Google's algorithms, not against it, but always be an advocate for your business. Give the algo enough data and flexibility to do its job, but always shape it through the lens of your business. That's the balance that unlocks scale. And look, I know videos like this can sometimes feel a little high level. I can't break down every nuance in one video, but if you'd like me to do a case study, maybe even a live working session where I build an account and campaign structure for someone looking to scale, drop a comment below and the person featured will get a free consulting session with myself on their account. So secret 2 is growth starts with understanding auction dynamics. So what most advertisers miss is that search and shopping auctions are finite. There's only so much search volume for a keyword category. And this is where most accounts hit a wall. You're already bidding as high as you can sustainably. New competitors are entering the auction and existing competitors keep pushing bids. Suddenly, it feels like the only way to grow is to spend more at efficiencies that no longer make sense. And that's a trap. And if you don't understand this, you'll keep blaming the algorithm instead of seeing the bigger picture. But the secret is you can still grow if you're strategic. Here's how to break through those plateaus. Number 1, expand your product offering and add new SKUs so you're relevant for more searches. For nimble brands, this is often the fastest way to grow. So number 2 would be broaden your keyword angles. Reposition existing products around new value props through ad copy and landing pages. For example, probiotics aren't just for bloating. They can also be positioned for weight loss, for regularity, for overall gut health. Each new angle opens up fresh new keyword volume search demand. So 3 would be move up the funnel. If bottom of the funnel is capped, go after problem-based searches like what helps with digestion for that probiotic example, or how to stay regular. Tailor the journey to the user's needs and leverage tools like blogs or page feeds. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like a separate video on this strategy. On to 4 would be create your own demand. Use Performance Max, Demand Gen, YouTube, Meta Ads, or even CTV or other similar channels to generate awareness that drives more search volume in your category. Number 5 would be improve your economics. Never stop testing to improve your conversion rate and average order volume, or your AOV. The more profitable each customer is, the more market share you can take at a sustainable bid. And number 6 would be expand into new regions. For many brands, especially dropshippers and those outside of those restricted categories like supplements, geographic expansion is one of the biggest levers for growth. Shopify Markets makes this super simple, and I always recommend starting with Canada, UK, Australia, or large English speaking markets. But I've also run profitable campaigns in Germany, France, Netherlands, UAE, and a dozen other countries. Pairing new SKUs with geographic expansion was one of the key drivers in scaling one client's account from 1 million to 18 million in less than a year. And this is where monitoring auction insights and search demand becomes critical. Because when search demand is capped, your results don't just depend on you. They depend on the competitor and the market dynamics. So the secret is growth isn't just about bidding more. It's about understanding the dynamics of the auction and reshaping demand in your favor. That's how you keep scaling when everyone else gets stuck. All right, so on to secret 3. Secret 3 is sometimes the best optimization is actually no optimization. Most advertisers don't realize this, but the fastest way to kill an account is by optimizing too frequently on incomplete data. And you can quote me on this. Sometimes the best optimization is no optimization. Now, by this, I don't mean adopting this set it and forget it mentality. You should absolutely be inside your account daily. And what I mean by this is collecting the right data and basing your decisions on current performance, past trends, where you predict the future is going. Use those before making any critical decisions. So here's why that matters. Number 1 would be post-click latency is a real thing. If your average time to purchase is, say, 4 days, and you're making decisions after 24 hours of data, you're judging campaign performance before conversions even have time to happen. Results will fluctuate. Auction dynamics, seasonality, consumer demand, even competitor promos can all swing performance. Question isn't to ask why did results change, but was this temporary, or could I have predicted this based on historic data? If you have, then the real next step is being proactive, using tools like seasonality bid adjustments or building in forecasts so you're ahead of those swings instead of reacting after the fact. So number 3 would be optimization timelines are arbitrary. Forget those so-called 7 to 14 day learning phases. What really matters is statistical significance and actionable progress. If you're getting 500 conversions in a week or maybe even a few days, you can move really quickly. But if your account only generates, say, 5 to 10 conversions in a 2-3 week period, you can't just sit back and wait forever. The key is looking for directional progress. Are things trending in the right way? Is there enough signal to justify a decision here? Not everyone has a luxury to wait for perfect data, but you should always act on the best evidence available and not just guessing. So number four would be attribution is messy. Platform data will always overcredit itself, and that's why I use a triangular approach to optimization. So what that looks like is using platform data for directional signals. Then I layer in third-party tools like MTA models or MMM models or holdout tests to understand incrementality across your full marketing mix. For the third part of the triangular approach to optimization, I use real-world feedback. It includes post-purchase surveys, promo codes, and even your own sense check, as in, does this data make sense based on the understanding of the customer journey to ground truth in the data that I'm looking at between different attribution models. When you combine those three, you're not just guessing, you're making decisions with confidence. So the secret is don't ever panic pause. Optimize your accounts like a cruise ship and not an overreactive speedboat. Respect latency, expect fluctuations, and act when the data is strong enough to back your decision. That's how you drive next level growth over the long term and avoid sabotaging your own account. But also remember, your data will never be perfect. Attribution models will conflict, results won't always be statistically significant, and not every account has a luxury of time. So don't use that as an excuse for inaction. Make the best assumptions you can with the data that you have, weigh them against your business goals, and then move forward with confidence. Secret 4 is the real secret to scaling Google Ads isn't just in Google Ads. Running ads without a proper CRO or conversion rate optimization system in place is like raising kids with no schedule. I have a toddler that's almost 3 and a baby that's under 1. And let me tell you, life without systems is like life on hard mode. No sleep, no free time, chaos everywhere. And that's exactly what it's like when you send traffic to a landing page that isn't optimized. You can have the best campaign setup, the best media buyer, even the algorithm working in your favor. But if your landing pages and your funnel aren't dialed in, you're either wasting money or leaving money on the table. So here's what my team and I at In-House Growth Studio, my full funnel Google Ads and YouTube ads agency, link in the description below, recommend to build a killer CRO program. And this is exactly why we started to offer CRO services in addition to elite media buying, because even the best media buying isn't enough if your funnel isn't optimized. So here's what we recommend. Optimize for more than just conversion rate. A winning landing page isn't just about getting someone to buy. It's about increasing AOV or average order volume, LTV or lifetime value, and customer quality. Do this with bundles, add to cart upsells, post-purchase offers, strong email and SMS follow-ups, maybe incentives and subscriptions to push longer term plans like 3 or 6 month options instead of just monthly options, and tailor ad messaging and landing page experience so that they are aligned. All right, so the second one would be test landing pages based on customer intent. Not every visitor should land on the same page. For lower funnel traffic, sending to people straight to a PDP or a product page, homepage, or collection page often makes sense. But for mid-funnel searches where people are still learning, an educational pre-sale page usually wins out. That could be a listicle, an advertorial, or a review style landing page. When you match landing pages to the intent, conversion rates can jump dramatically. In many cases, a good pre-sale can outperform even your best PDP significantly. Third recommendation would be test your main URL versus your separate landing page hosted off your main site. So sometimes your main URL or your main website outperforms because Google loves the extra metadata. It can improve quality score and lower CPCs. But your main site can also work against you. It's often heavier with more custom scripts and pixels firing, slower load times, and lots of distractions that pull users away from the conversion. So that's where separate landing pages come in. These are usually lightweight, focused, often built on subdomains or landing page platforms that strip out the unnecessary elements. They load faster, track cleaner, and keep the user journey simple and dialed in. Both approaches have pros and cons, which is why the only way to know what's going to work best for your audience and in your case, which one the algorithm prefers, is to test. In some cases, using a streamlined landing page can lower cost and improve efficiency, even if your raw conversion rate stays the same. So number 4 in terms of CRO recommendations would be build an exceptional lifecycle program. So by lifecycle marketing, I mean what happens after someone lands on your website. The goal is simple. Take paid traffic and turn them into owned traffic so you can keep reaching out to those users free of charge. And here's why it matters. Most visitors won't convert on their first session. Capture them with smart pop-ups or lead forms that don't wreck the user experience. Once you have their email or their phone number, you can retarget them without paying Google again. On converters, you can upsell, get one-time buyers onto subscriptions, hit old customers with new offers. And during high-cost periods like Black Friday, you can drive massive revenue from owned channels instead of fighting inflated CPCs and inflated CPMs during those periods. Bottom line is a strong lifecycle program isn't what you would traditionally think of as CRO optimization, but it allows you to squeeze more out of every click and multiplies the ROI of your paid traffic. And if you're interested in learning more about CRO, make sure to hit the subscribe button because one of my next videos is going to be a deep dive into CRO specifically for e-commerce brands. But if you'd rather not wait, I also share a lot of my CRO frameworks and breakdowns in my free newsletter, which is in the description below. All right, so now secret 5 is double, if not triple check your Google Ads settings. One of the easiest ways to waste money on Google Ads is not by checking your account settings. Google will quietly apply auto recommendations that change how your campaigns run, and most advertisers don't even notice. I audit new accounts all the time and see things like auto extensions applied without approval. I've seen site links driving traffic to login pages or random backend pages that should never have gotten paid traffic. The second thing would be I often see off-brand auto-generated headlines and ads, and Google will happily write ad copy for you, but it can often feel off-brand and not make sense, which hurts your performance and credibility. The third thing I see in terms of settings pretty frequently is ad spend leaking into the wrong locations. Accounts blowing budget on countries they can't even fulfill just because of their location targeting settings. Here's a real client example. An online therapy company had a dedicated funnel for Massachusetts users. But because they had landing page expansion turned on, Massachusetts traffic was being sent to New York audience and to their New York page. That's wasted budget, a broken customer experience, and a massive opportunity cost. Why is that a massive opportunity cost? Because if you don't catch it, you'll assume that the campaign or your landing page doesn't work, when in reality, it's just a bad setting sabotaging you. So the takeaway is simple. Strategy means nothing if your settings are not dialed in. Double, even triple check them, because one wrong setting can quietly burn through the budget before you even realize it. All right, so number 6 is AI won't replace marketers, but it will replace marketers who don't use AI. So AI and vibe marketing are everything right now. It's what everyone's talking about. And here's my take. AI is becoming the biggest competitive advantage in advertising. The marketers and the agencies who learn to leverage it will save time, save money, and simply outperform their competition. And yes, AI can understand your brand, but it needs some handholding. The prompts, the context, the direction you give it will determine the quality of the output. But here's the crazy part. This is the worst AI will ever be. It's improving at insane pace, which means every month you wait to adapt, your competitors get further ahead. So where does AI actually save you the most time and the most money? Here's where I use AI every day. 1, deep research. AI can pull together competitor angles, customer pain points, and even help develop full brand playbooks in minutes instead of weeks. So 2 would be add copy inspiration. Feed it your core messaging, let it generate headlines, variations, and even help you navigate creative copy that fits Google's character limits. 3 would be keyword and category ideation, not full keyword research, but AI is great for surfacing new categories, new audiences, and new creative angles you might not have thought of. So 4 would be video and creative shortcuts. What used to cost 5 or even 6 figures for a shoot can now be done with a combination of AI and a video editor in a fraction of the time and the cost. Picture to video tools, character consistency, even full ad variations are all now possible with AI. And this isn't a finite list. Also, utilizing AI agents for marketing is a super interesting and valuable topic. If you want me to do a video breakdown on the best AI agents every marketer should be using, let me know in the comments below and I'll make a video on that. So here are the tools we have right now within Google Ads specifically. The first tool would be generative AI, and it's basically for filling creative gaps. The second one would be AI image editing to instantly adjust or swap visuals. 3 would be AI video creation from still images. The fourth tool would be AI video enhancements that automatically adjust aspect ratio across different placements. And outside of Google Ads specifically, Google still has and building even more powerful tools. So some of these tools you might have heard of, but like VO3 in Gemini for video generation. We have Whisk, which is for image to video workflow automations. And the third one you might have heard of as well, which is Flow as a filmmaking tool to streamline production. And the secret is this. AI won't replace great marketers, but great marketers who master AI will replace those who don't. It's cheaper, it's faster, and getting better by the week. This is the worst it will ever be. It's still not too late to start learning how to leverage AI in improving the performance of your Google Ads account. Secret 7, understand that Google Ads isn't just paid search, it's a full funnel channel. It's important to understand that campaign hierarchy inside Google Ads, because if you don't, you'll eventually hit a cap on how far your account can scale. Google Ads isn't just search. It's a full ecosystem of networks. We got search, shopping, display, discovery, Gmail, and YouTube. Each one plays a different role in the funnel, and when you build them in the right order, every layer compounds on the next. Here's how I'd build a new account from the ground up. Number 1, bottom of the funnel, capture demand. Start with branded search, bottom of the funnel non-brand search, shopping campaigns for your best products. If you already have strong conversion data, you can fold in Performance Max shopping here too. This is where you capture existing demand from people who already are searching. Now, the second stage would be mid-funnel. Now, this is generating demand. So once that foundation is solid, layer in mid-funnel search, then demand gen, and mid-funnel Performance Max. These expand your reach to people who aren't searching yet, but are likely to be in the market. It primes them before they hit Google search. Third stage would be upper funnel. This is brand consideration. So the next you'd move into YouTube video campaigns, and these basically build consideration by getting your brand in front of the audience who may not be actively looking, but can be influenced. And now for some brands, you're going to move even further up the funnel, and this is awareness. Finally, run YouTube video reach campaigns. And this is your awareness engine, scaling reach at the widest part of the funnel and ultimately making your lower funnel campaigns more efficient. The order matters. You don't build a house starting with the roof. You start with the foundation, capture existing demand first, and then expand into demand generation, and then scale with video. The secret is this: Google Ads isn't just search and shopping. The advertisers who understand campaign hierarchy and build full funnel systems are the ones who scale profitably. So secret 8, you can protect your blended performance with a proper forecast. One of the most overlooked parts of scaling Google Ads is forecasting. Too many advertisers launch new tests or campaigns without thinking about what happens if those tests fail. And that's super risky because it puts your entire blended performance on the line each time you test something new. The smarter approach is to run monthly and yearly forecasts. Before you launch a test, build a simple model based on the following. So the first thing that you base this forecast on is historic performance based on data from your account. 2, seasonality trends, how demand shifts across months or quarters. 3 is competitor insights from auction insights or industry research. Then ask yourself, if this new campaign completely flops, if it doesn't work as intended, what happens to my overall ROAS or CPA compared to the forecast? That clarity avoids the biggest mistake I see: panic pausing, as I call it. Too many advertisers cut tests prematurely because early results look bad. That wastes time, that wastes money, and the opportunity to gather meaningful data. When you forecast properly, you don't panic and you know what normal looks like, and you give tests enough runway to succeed or to fail with confidence, knowing that it's not going to affect your blended performance. So the secret is this: you can protect your blended performance with a proper forecast. Testing is critical, but it should never put your whole account or your growth at risk. Okay, the second to last secret 9, is hire a specialist, not a generalist, because the best Google Ads marketers are growth marketers at heart. So another one of the biggest mistakes that I see is hiring generalists. If someone claims they've scaled everything from SaaS to e-commerce, in every category within e-commerce, to B2B lead gen, to local service businesses, just run. What you really want is a specialist, someone who knows the ins, the outs of an industry, who has a proven blueprint for scaling it. Also, someone who has agency experience is great because they have experience across many accounts. But on the flip side, it can also leave that media buyer with surface level knowledge, right? On the other side would be working in-house at one brand, which gives a media buyer depth, but it also silos them and creates blind spots. That's why the best specialists aren't just media buyers. They are growth marketers at heart. And here's what that looks like. One would be they have a testing mindset. They put their best foot forward, but know that only data proves what works and has an open mind to tests. 2 would be they are consistently iterating. They're testing ad copy, they're testing images, and not just leaning on the algorithm and consolidation for their results. 3 would be they understand attribution. So this is a big one. They know when to recommend shifting budgets, even if it means moving dollars to another channel that is not Google Ads. So the fourth one of being a growth marketer at heart is they can forecast and analyze across multiple data sources. They know optimization isn't just a science, it's also an art. Balances prediction, experimentation, and business context. And this is exactly why at In-House Growth Studio, my Google Ads and YouTube Ads agency, we focus specifically on direct-to-consumer D2C health and wellness brands such as supplement brands, telehealth, skincare, health tech for the majority of our clients, because going deep in one category builds a repeatable blueprint for scaling without the guesswork. So the secret is this: don't hire a generalist, hire a specialist who thinks like a growth marketer. That's the difference between someone who manages campaigns and someone who builds and scales brands. All right, so the final secret 10, is avoid shiny channel syndrome. So this is another huge mistake that I see brands doing, is chasing new channels too early. So that might look like podcast ads, Reddit ads, TikTok ads, Snapchat ads, whatever it is. They all sound exciting, but most of the time they end up draining time, resources, and budget for smaller wins than if you had just doubled down on what's already working. So here's the reality. Google Ads and Meta ads are still the cornerstones of growth for e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands because they're scalable. When you put in the time, the resources, and the expertise, you can compound significant growth. Google Ads in particular is the backbone for some of the most fastest growing D2C brands. And trust me, if you think that your account is maxed out, has plateaued, there's almost always more growth to unlock. But it takes real work. It takes consistent testing, consistent iteration, full funnel strategy. A set it and forget it strategy does not cut it. So avoid shiny channel syndrome. Focus on building a growth engine in your core channel channels first, optimize, scale, squeeze out every opportunity in Google and Meta ads before you chase those smaller channels. So in conclusion, those are the 10 Google Ads secrets I wish I knew earlier. Each one of those can save you money, unlock growth, and help you scale profitably if you actually apply them. I hope this gave you immense value. My only goal with this content is to help brands stop wasting money and start scaling smarter. If this was helpful, share it with another growth marketer, founder, or media buyer who would benefit, and drop a comment with which secret resonated most for you. Or just let me know any topics that you'd like me to do a deep dive and cover next on this channel. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss those deep dive strategic videos. And if you want the written breakdowns, the frameworks, the extra insights I don't share anywhere else, sign up for my free newsletter. The link's in the description below. I really appreciate your time and listening this far into the video, and I'll see you on the next one.